Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Joel June and I'm going to be your history instructor for the upcoming semester here. And this is just going to be a brief tutorial about accessing our D2L page and pretty much going over all the assignments that are going to be due the first few weeks and how pretty much the class is going to be run on a week-to-week basis. I'm sure some of you are familiar with D2L and have used it in the past, but this is still going to be a good resource to know exactly how our class is going to be running and operating, and will start us all off on the same foot moving forward. Now, I do teach at several different Minnesota state colleges. So if you are a student from St. Paul, Century College, Inver Hills, Normandale, pretty much getting into D2L might be a little bit different, but once you're in it, it's exactly the same, and all my classes are going to run very similarly. So it's going to essentially, this tutorial will work no matter which institution you are attending. For example, if you look at St. Paul College's site, you go to student login, you can go down to D2L Brightspace, click on that to access it. Century College, you can go up to this little login button right up here, and there's a link for D2L Brightspace. Inver Hills, you can go to current students, and there's a D2L login button here, or you can just scroll down to the bottom of the page, another D2L Brightspace login link. No matter which one you click on, it's going to take you to essentially the same login page that's going to ask for your star ID and password, which you all should already have at this point in time. And putting in that information then is going to bring you to a page that's going to look something like this, no matter which D2L site you are in. Just another example here of Century Colleges. Regardless of which one you are in, and when you scroll down, you're going to see a section that's called My Courses. There's another example here from Inver Hills. Scroll down, My Courses, and there's going to be a listing of the courses that you are registered or signed up for. So for example, they're all going to have HIST for history, the course number, and then the title of the class. So this one would be example, History 1106, Section 91, World History 1. And that is going to pretty much let you know which one you are going to want to access. Most of them are going to have some sort of historic image on the front of them, so you'll know which class is ours. So I'm just going to use this world history class here as an example. So coming in and looking at our sort of main page here, this is the first page you're going to see, or something very similar to it. Depending at which course you're going to be looking at. Announcements are going to be posted right up here at the top of the page. Announcements, when if ever I need something and give some information to the class, I'm going to be posting it in the announcements tab here. If it's something important enough for me to make an announcement, I'll also be emailing it to your college email address, and pretty much all the communication that's going to be coming from me, important information is going to be coming to your college email address. So depending on which college you are at, make sure you are checking that frequently, because if there's some important information in there and you don't get it because you are you're not checking your email, you're still going to be sort of responsible for whatever information was communicated. Another link off to the side is going to be a calendar. This is going to essentially show what is going to be due coming up. So in this case, you see the first week listed out here in the assignments. So there's going to be a syllabus quiz, an introduction activity, and a reflection activity. And pretty much all of you are going to be seeing the same 3 assignments for the first week of class. Depending on what semester this is, the dates here might change, but it should be at least these 3 activities, and possibly 1 or 2 more if it's a condensed class. There also might be a section, the content browser, that is listed on your site, which is sort of a quick way to access the weekly learning modules, and that's where the majority of the learning is going to be going to. The calendar links, you can click on them to access the assignments directly, but to get the full assignment details and requirements, you're going to want to go into the content area. So one way to do it, like I said, is to scroll down and to click on it down here under the content browser. Another way is going to be able to go up to materials and then go down and hit content. And that's where the majority of our class is going to be taking place, here in the content area. So the first few tabs that you're going to be seeing are essentially sort of general information tabs. There's a class information where the syllabus and possibly the class schedule is going to be located. And certainly that's something you're going to want to be reading. There's a quiz on the syllabus for the first week, and the syllabus is going to go into more detail with a lot of the requirements that I am explaining here today, and give a full accounting of what's expected in the class and all the policies and so forth. So it's going to be a good document to read through very early in the semester. The next link down is to our textbook. Most of my classes are going to be using a link to the Red Shelf ebooks, which means that your book has already been purchased. And you can click on here then to gain access to the textbook for reading the weekly chapters. If the class I am teaching does not have a textbook, this tab will simply probably say something like no textbook required. Check weekly learning modules for class materials, something along those lines. But if you do have a textbook for the course, this is where it is going to be listed. And it's pretty easy to access Red Shelf. You just click on it. It should show you the picture of the book, and then just hit view course materials to log in, and then start reading will bring you into the actual textbook itself. Just a few pointers if you are using the Red Shelf version of how to maneuver things. You can do a search option. So if you want to look for chapter 1, you just type it in here, do a search. No, and that actually didn't come up with anything. So I'd say rather than the search function, just go and hit this main menu button here. And then you can go to table of contents, which will help you maneuver. Or what I would suggest is going to table of contents and then hitting the contents link to the book, because from here you can hyperlink to anywhere in the chapters. So for example, if you wanted to go to chapter 3 here for our World History 1 class, you just click on that link. That's funny. This isn't working correctly. Apparently this is not hyperlinked correctly. All right, you can just go to contents then up here. You can scroll down to chapter 3. There we go. And then that'll bring you to the correct chapter. So it's going to take a little bit of scrolling apparently, but that will get you where you need to go in the textbook. So once more, just to remind you, main menu, table of contents, and then you can find what it is you are looking for. All right, so that is the textbook, if your class has one. If not, all the reading links and so forth are going to be directly in the weekly folders down below here. In the resources tab, this is where we're going to be having our rubrics located. So all of our classes are going to have rubrics of some type for all your assignments or activities. Right now, for example, there's a reflection activities listed and a primary source rubric listed. I'm pretty sure whatever class you're using is going to have at least these two. As time goes on, this is also where I'll be posting the rubric for the final essays. So keep an eye on here, and I'll also be, of course, sending out an email when that becomes available as well. Also, under extra credit, there's a few extra credit assignments I already have set up. The first is to visit me during my office hours. If this is a future semester, these times and hours might change. But for this semester, my office hours run 1 to 3 p.m. and 1 to 3 p.m. on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And you can visit me on the link here via Zoom. And if you come in at any point in time during the semester and just talk with me over Zoom, whether you have a specific question or you just want to stop in and say hi, you'll start off the bat by earning 10 extra credit points. So easiest points you're ever going to get. Just go ahead, log into this. All students have access to Zoom just by being a member of a Minnesota State college. And also, if you'd like some more information on accessing Zoom, you can click on this link here to a really good resource that will work you through how you gain access and how you use Zoom. So yeah, pretty easy. Another quick extra credit movie review, which will be due by the end of the semester, and a class review, which will be opening up towards the end of the semester. So our extra credit assignments are up here as well. Then we're going to get into what we're going to be doing on a weekly basis. So as you can see, our weekly folders all have the week number next to them, as well as the date. range that is associated with them, and then the title of the chapter. So week 1 is going to run from August 24th to August 30th, and that is the introduction. All of my classes run from Monday to Sunday, essentially, on a week-by-week basis. So you're going to have an entire week to work on the assignments, complete the activities, and all assignments are due 11:59 p.m. on Sunday evening. So you're going to have all the way until the end of Sunday in order to turn things in. So for week 2, you can see it's going to run from Monday, August 31st to Sunday, September 6th, and so on and so forth. Right up here at the top, you're going to see everything that is then going to be required of you for that week. So for week 1, you're going to read the syllabus and the notes on history document, which all the documents you need to read are listed down below. I'd like you to view the videos as well as the introduction PowerPoint here, and then complete the following assignments: the syllabus quiz, the introduction assignment, and answering 3 reflection activities. Once more, these are going to be, you should sound familiar because these are the same ones that were listed on the calendar on our main page of the site that you could directly link to. But this is sort of where they live in these weekly folders here. And scrolling down, you're going to be able to see the introduction activity being listed, the introduction reflection activities being listed, the syllabus quiz here, and so forth. So you can sort of check off as you go down, read these resources, view the attached videos. Once more, scrolling down, What is History For is one of our videos, primary versus secondary sources, one of our videos, and so forth. So read the material, view the videos, and then complete the class assignments. And that is what we're going to be doing on a weekly basis. Week 2 is going to look similar, with just a few differences. You can see now you have a specific chapter that we need to read through, in this case, chapter 1. View the videos and the PowerPoints and complete the following assignments. And you can see it's a very similar setup. You're going to complete the quiz on the chapter. You're going to read the primary source discussion, and you're going to answer 3 reflection activities. If you're in a future class or a class that has slightly different assignments, they're still going to be in this order: what you need to read, what you need to view, and then what you need to complete. And they're going to be essentially listed in the same order down below, with reading the PowerPoint first. For the textbook, for chapter 1, you have to just click back up on the textbook to regain access to that. And then scrolling down, the last thing are the actual assignments. So the quiz on chapter 1, the Paleolithic and Neolithic reflection questions, and our week 2 primary source discussion. So the primary source is going to be sort of linked in here typically. For the first one, just going to be looking at examples from the textbook and the PowerPoint. But for example, if you're in week number 3 and scroll down, our primary source is listed right here, which you can open up as a PDF or download it to your computer to view. Just a quick note on the PowerPoints. Typically, I'll be having PowerPoint presentations for most of our classes for most weeks that you're going to view, as well as the videos. And just clicking on one of these, it'll bring in here and it'll start loading up, and this can take quite a while. And I'm going to say viewing the PowerPoint slides in this viewer is doable, but it's not ideal. You're going to have better results if you download the PowerPoint and then open it up on your computer with the PowerPoint program, or open it up with the web link that should be available through the college, because we all have access to Microsoft 365, which is going to include PowerPoint. So if you have to watch it or view it in the viewer here, like I said, it's very doable, but you might have better results downloading it. And I know some students in the past have had issues with the viewer here cutting off the bottom of slides so they don't see all of the text, or having other viewing issues. And downloading and reviewing it will essentially solve that. If you're having any issues viewing any of the class materials, whether it's the videos, whether it's the PowerPoint, anything else, just please contact me and let me know, and I'll find a way to get it to you in a format that you can open up and access as soon as I can. And really, as I'm going through here, just something to reiterate: if you have questions on anything we're covering, please feel free to call me. My phone number should be available in the syllabus as well as in the introduction email I sent you, or give me an email. I respond to both. And, you know, it's my sort of biggest goal as an instructor to make sure that you have everything you need to be successful. So certainly I am always open and willing to, try to get you what you need as quickly as I can. Now, if you're going to call me at 9 o'clock on a Friday evening, I may not be able to get back to you until the next day, or if I'm real busy, you know, over the weekend, but I try to answer my emails very quickly and return calls very quickly as well. But essentially, that's how things are going to be running on a weekly basis. You'll have everything that needs to be completed throughout the week. The assignments are listed here, and they might be slightly different than what you're seeing in our example, but they're all probably going to be fairly similar. Similarly, it's usually there's some sort of quiz involved, there's some sort of reflection questions, and there's usually always working with primary sources, as those are a very important part to being a historian, as you are going to be discovering in our introduction period of the class. A few other areas that you might want to look at for the class. As I mentioned, there's always going to be a discussion assignment past the first week. The first week usually does not contain one, but starting with week 2, there's going to be the primary source discussions. You can click to access those discussion boards and just respond to other students by directly clicking here. Otherwise, if you go up to the top under communication, there's also a discussions link, which will bring into you just a list of the various discussion boards. And then once more, you can click on it to go ahead and then start a new thread to respond. And after you respond to these questions, based upon the prompts I have up here, once you have your answers, you can then go ahead and discuss and respond to other students, which is part of getting points for the assignment. So that's one area. Another area you're going to want to look at is under assessment. You can click on assignments to see a link where just a list of the various assignments that are going to be due. You can also go there and do the same thing for quizzes, but typically it's going to be easier just go into the materials content where all of our other content lives to access those. But just if for whatever reason you're having issues with those, here's a direct way to access these assignments. And the final one here under assessment is going to be the grades category, and that is going to be where your grades are going to be listed. You're going to get a slightly different view than what I have here on my screen, but you'll be able to check and make sure that the assignments you have submitted have been graded and that there are no surprises. And I'm going to encourage you to look at that fairly regularly, because that will tell you, sort of out of how many points have been awarded so far in the class, how many you have received and how generally you are doing. And definitely I would say keep an eye on that because I try to be as careful as I can when I'm entering grades and so forth. But for example, this semester that I'm teaching, I have over 200 students all turning in multiple assignments every week. So I'm grading 400 to 500 assignments a week sometimes. And I'm human and I can make mistakes and things can slip through the cracks. So if you turn something in, you turned it in, but you got a 0 for it or you don't see a grade for it and that seems odd, just go ahead, send me an email or a reminder and I will check into it and let you know what I find. So it's definitely a good idea to be double checking every once in a while just to make sure everything looks the way you think that it should. And if not, please let me know. Also, if you're getting grades and you're not quite sure how you are being assessed or where those grades are coming from, you can go ahead and let me know. I'd be more than glad to work with you. Also, if you click on them, you'll be able to click on your grade, specific grade items. You can see the rubric which has been filled out. And that rubric then is going to, once more, even further, let you know what points were awarded for which sections and so forth. So before you start completing these assignments, I would also very much encourage you to check out the rubric for them. Once more, those are listed under the resources tab. Otherwise, if you just go down to one of the weekly folders, you can find a link to the rubrics directly in with the assignment. So under the Paleolithic and Neolithic reflection questions, here is a link to our reflection activities rubric. Same thing under our primary source discussion. you can go ahead and click on the link here to the primary source rubric and view it right before you begin answering your questions. And that's definitely something you're going to want to pay attention to, because that's very much how I go about grading and assessing your work. I don't want there to be any surprises, and I want you all to very much sort of know what is expected of you every week. Once more, the weekly basis, the assignments are going to be very similar. There shouldn't be a lot of surprises. If there is going to be an alteration of the schedule, I will let you know ahead of time, and we'll go from there. So that's all that I have for now. Thank you very much for viewing our video. And if you have any questions about the class that you were looking for, or if something looks slightly different in the class that you have than what I presented in our tutorial here, just let me know, and I can go ahead and clarify how things are going to be working for our particular class. All right, thank you all very much, and I'm very much looking forward to having you in class. I'm glad you're all here with me, and let's have a fantastic semester. Thank you. Bye-bye.